Okay, you about ready?
I'm just load balancing the commode diode virtualization server and linking it into the parabolic spectrum analyzer.
And what will that take? 6 hours?
5 minutes, tops.
Hey, Geiko, can you take a peek and see where we're at? Yeah, looks like people are settling in. A lot of excitement in the air. I see 3 people who are not playing with their Blackberries. Is all our content lined up backstage? Hard-hitting content all stacked and ready, Fred. Excellent. Geiko, remind everyone to put their gadgets in silent mode and refrain from flash photography. Hello, everyone. What Fred just said. And it's my turn to push the button this time, right? You've pushed it the last 3 times, so it's my turn. Just so we're clear.
Sorry, did you say something?
In 5, 4, 3, 2. Seriously? Come on!
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Senior Vice President and General Manager, Virtualization and Cloud Platforms, VMware, Raghu Raghuram.
Good afternoon. That was a nifty little video. So I'm here to talk about what the work that we are doing with Novell around Linux, and also not just about Linux, but also about the full range of Novell products that interoperate and add value to a VMware platform. So we're going to do the session in 2 parts. I'm going to briefly talk about the SLES for VMware offering, and then Joe Wagner from Novell will come up and talk about everything else that Novell's doing, including SLES for VMware, but also everything else in the management and workflow spaces. And we will also bring up a customer from OCLC, Josh Thomas, and he'll talk about his actual use case and experience with the SLES for VMware product. So as you probably heard in the keynote from Paul yesterday, what we are focused on VMware as a company is enabling our customers to deliver IT as a service. And as Rick and Paul and others talked about yesterday, IT as a service is, the way we define it, is about optimizing, looking at IT production through a consumer's eyes, or through the consumer of IT's eyes, which could be application teams, it could be end users. And when you think about application teams, one of the fastest growing trends on VMware platforms is the trend towards putting mission critical tier 1 applications on a virtualization platform, on vSphere, right? Most of our customers, and we have over 190,000 customers, when we went and studied them, we found that their virtualization journey consists of 3 broad stages. The first stage is when they start putting the application, the IT assets that IT groups own, such as your file and print servers, in and derive consolidation and CapEx benefits. The interesting part of the virtualization journey comes about when they start to enter into what we call the business production stage. This is when they start to virtualize the mission critical applications. When you start to virtualize mission critical applications, the set of requirements and what's important changes. It's no longer just about CapEx reduction. It's about resiliency. It's about better availability. It's about support from the software vendor, etc., etc. So when we looked at this, and we looked at what's going on in the application space, especially mission-critical application space, the first part of the slide here is not of news to anybody. Virtualization is being used in a production basis for production workloads for a long, long time across all of our customers. But increasingly, we are finding many of our customers starting to deploy workloads that are not based on Windows but are based on Linux. And this comes from 2 places. One is classical Linux workloads that used to exist on x86 platforms. It is also coming from customers migrating from other RISC and even in some cases Z-series platforms, deciding to move to a standardized x86 infrastructure, a virtualized x86 infrastructure, and then wanting to run these applications on the standardized virtualized infrastructure. And this is where the motivation for our relationship with Novell came about, is to enable these business critical applications to be able to run and be supported on our platform. So it's with great excitement that we are announcing today, we in fact announced earlier today, the GA of the SUSE Linux Enterprise Server for VMware. This is something we announced in the press about a few months ago, and it essentially is about 2 things. First, if you buy a vSphere license, then you are entitled to SUSE Linux for vSphere at no extra cost. Second, as part of your enterprise support subscription, you can also get technical support directly from VMware, in addition to, of course, continuing to get technical support from any one of Novell's partners. The benefit of getting technical support directly from VMware, of course, is it's a single environment, a single throat to choke, if you will. And then the third and interesting aspect of this announcement is that VMware is standardizing on SUSE Linux as the base OS for all the virtual appliances that we will be shipping in the next several years. As you all probably know, we have started to ship our management software products as virtual appliances. And going forward, the standard OS inside of those virtual appliances will be SLES for VMware. So here is what the benefits are for customers. First and foremost, of course, SUSE Linux is an enterprise class operating system. It's a proven and reliable operating system that's been used for a decade or more in mission-critical environments. Second, from a TCO perspective, customers win with this Linux offering as opposed to any other Linux offering in the marketplace, because it is offered at no additional cost over the cost of VMware. As I mentioned before, the support streamlining is a huge advantage for a lot of customers. An important aspect of how this is licensed is you can run unlimited instances of Linux in the guest OS with this license. So if you're licensed for one vSphere host, you can run as many Linux VMs on it without worrying about the licensing of the OS. And last but not the least, SUSE Linux has been certified. There are over 6,000 applications certified for this platform. So regardless of whether you're thinking about broad horizontal applications like SAP or very specific vertical line of business applications that might be pertinent to your industry, the chances are you will find your applications to be certified on SUSE Linux. So not only you get the great cost advantages and the flexible licensing, but you also get the broadest ISV support. So with that, I'm going to bring up one of our customers that's actually being using this offering on top of vSphere. And the customer is Josh from OCLC. Josh? There you go. Thanks.
Thank you. So I'm Josh Thomas from OCLC, and I think it would help a little bit to understand a little about what OCLC does to understand why this is a compelling use case. OCLC, if you didn't know, is the Online Computer Library Center. We are a nonprofit, membership-based library service organization. So over 27,000 libraries use our services, and that's in 171 different countries. So the beginnings of OCLC, the idea that started it all off was different libraries needing to catalog their assets, the books, the different materials they have. And at the time, each of the card catalogers were keying in the individual information. And the idea was, what if we could network that, basically provided as a cloud service, and if the information had already been keyed in, the second library that would come along would just say, search for that unique identifier and say, yes, I have that piece of information. Now, with all the presentations that are going on, that doesn't seem too complicated now, but that idea originated in 1967. So it took about 4 years, and we were doing that for Ohio colleges and universities in 1971. So we have a long background in basically providing online services. So our story follows the development path that I keep hearing over and over at the VMworld presentations. Where we started with was this consolidation. So using vSphere, we have now gotten to an 80% virtualization. Over the last 3 years, we estimate that we've saved about $9 million over what we would have had to buy if we had not virtualized with vSphere. So definitely those the first paths there are something that we definitely have realized those. Now the quote that was up before, the OCLC is running 2,000 SUSE Linux Enterprise server virtual machines on vSphere as a guest. That is our mission-critical external-facing production applications. So if you fast forward from 1971 to today, we now have online 200 million bibliographic records and 1.6 billion holdings. So holding is a library owning that asset. And we deliver that via website worldcat.org, and worldcat.org is powered with SUSE Linux Enterprise Server running on vSphere. So we're also expanding our business out into what we call web-scale management services, which is if cataloging is one of the back-office operations of a library, then the rest, acquisition, circulation, the rest of the operations that a library does. And we're basically providing that via web services. That's also being delivered via SUSE Linux Enterprise Server, SLES. We call it SLES, right? SLES on vSphere. So the SUSE part of the picture for us was about 3 years ago is when we did our study to determine which Linux platform we were going to be on. We had already developed our applications and had a very good in-house knowledge of Linux. So through that analysis, we were able to reduce our OS-related costs by 60% by going with SUSE Linux Enterprise Server. And along with that, we had some very strict requirements. Because we were using it in production, it had to have strong central management. It had to have patches, update, and support. And we had to know that it was going to run within the environment that we built. So the SUSE was an excellent choice for us, and we have been running, like I said, we did a migration. We've been running over 2 years with our mission-critical apps. So, of course, with today's partnership, we feel like we hit the jackpot, right? You know, you got this announcement, we're already running those two. But along with the partnership, it's amazing to us, we're going to keep continuing to lower our costs. So that 60% was before we even have the benefits of this licensing and the benefits of not having to worry about that as being licensed for vSphere. But probably most important to us, because basically all that we do is online, or a vast majority of what we do online. I'm sure there are several people within OCLC, we have research divisions and stuff, but that the core of our business being online, production availability, and hitting service levels is critical to us. So we talk 3 nines, we talk 4 nines, we talk revenue loss if we don't meet those SLAs. So to us, with this partnership, the support is key. I'm sure all of our IT staff would prefer to have just a red phone in the data center that we just pick up and yell fix it into it and hang it back down and that it's done. So with the partnership and getting support through VMware, you know, is something that we're really looking forward to and really is a benefit to us. So we're really excited about the partnership and really thank you for your time.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Senior Vice President and General Manager, Global Alliances, Novell, Joe Wagner.
Thank you. First, I want to thank you, Josh. That was a great overview of your use of SUSE Linux and our partnership with VMware. And to Raghu, thank you as well for the opportunity to work together. And of course, thank you to all of you for taking time out of this beautiful day here in San Francisco to be with us here in the late afternoon. I'm delighted to be here. It's an exciting announcement. It's a landmark announcement, we believe, for the industry and Novell and VMware together, and to bring the power of the SUSE Linux Enterprise platform integrated and bundled with the power of VMware's virtualization infrastructure platform. You heard a little bit about it. Let me describe where we believe you should take first advantage of it. You heard in the keynote yesterday, and you heard Raghu's comments, that in VMware's customer set, more and more Tier 1 applications are being virtualized and brought onto the platform. So we believe there's an opportunity to do that. You'll see a glimpse of the application sets that are available with SUSE Linux Enterprise. But right out of the chute, SAP's entire portfolio, we are the preferred Linux operating system for SAP. And we believe there's a real opportunity for you as customers and you as partners to help customers take full advantage of this opportunity that's created with SLES for VMware and begin to migrate off of those more expensive proprietary infrastructures that customers would like to do. Second, we think there's another real opportunity if you're concerned about the proprietary Unix space that you may have in your infrastructure, or that your customers, if you're a partner in the audience, may have. This is another great opportunity to introduce a cost-effective means of migrating off of that proprietary Unix and more expensive Unix infrastructure into an open source Linux capability. And so there will be work that we're doing jointly with the partners to bring out this capability and these migration capabilities for you. And if you're interested in that, you can come to either of our websites and take a look at that. Third, we think there's another opportunity to take a look at if you're utilizing Linux today and utilizing unpaid subscriptions that are non-commercial. This is a way for you to get a enterprise class operating system at no cost. So there's really no reason today in your infrastructure and test and development to be using unpaid Linux with this offering if you're a VMware infrastructure customer. Second, we think there's another great opportunity to standardize all of your Linux operating systems to SUSE Linux through this offering. And as you heard from Josh, continue that path of gaining more value out of your IT infrastructure. And once you get a chance to look at SUSE Linux and see the number of applications, which I'll bring up now, just a sample set of those that are already certified and available to you, it's an opportunity to take a look at all of the operating system choices. And if you've been concerned about the restrictions on mobility that many vendors are putting on the mobility or the number of virtual machines that you can create on a VM host, those go away in this environment. So you have a number of very poignant cost and simplicity capabilities here that we believe bring great value to the market. One of the things that didn't come out necessarily highlighted in the initial comments is this concept of mobility and portability. So as Raghu mentioned, you get an unlimited number of virtual machines that you can have on a VM host, vSphere host, and as long as you've purchased vSphere, you can move those virtual machines within your enterprise anywhere in that vSphere infrastructure. So another great freedom opportunity for you within the enterprise. And if you were there in the keynote, you saw the vCloud partnership that VMware is moving forward with the combination of vShield, vCloud, and vSphere to create hybrid clouds. Stay tuned for that. We're working together to figure out the right methodology and approach to allow you to begin to burst those virtual machines or migrate those virtual machines, as it was shown in the keynote, back and forth between those cloud providers, service providers, and your enterprise. So what I'm going to do now is give you a really quick demonstration. It's so quick, I'm just going to describe it real quickly and then try to keep up with it when it goes through as to what your experience will be to get your subscription of SUSE Linux Enterprise for VMware. What you'll see is that you'll get an email. You click to the email. It will lead you to a Novell registration page where you need to put in some basic information about yourself to tell us where we should be directing the patch streams. So it's an activated copy of SLES, but we need to understand who you are to know where the patches and updates are going. You do that, you fill in the normal login information. And then you will, in the email that you receive, there's an activation code. You just cut and paste that activation code right in. And your SUSE Linux for VMware copy is active for your download. Then you go back to the same email page, request the download, and we're not going to wait for the download. We're just going to spin right now over to actually launching SUSE Linux Enterprise for VMware so you can see what the actual bundle looks like when you bring it up. So this happens pretty fast. Those of you that have downloaded something this size, it'll take a little longer, but you can see how fast it comes up. And there you go. So it's a very fast, very simple experience to be able to get your copy if you're a vSphere 4.1 customer. And again, as you saw in the announcement, if you purchased any time after we announced this OEM relationship, which was June 9th of this year, you're entitled to get this. Right? So go to the VMware website. It's vmware.com/SUSE Linux for VMware. If you're interested in applications that you didn't necessarily see on that slide that I put up, you can go to novell.com, www.novell.com/products/ISV. And if you can make a request, you can look at the whole catalog there. And if we don't have your application, you can make a request, and we respond to those very quickly to help you and help that ISV get certified on the SLES platform. So let me shift for a second. This is a real brief introduction to some of the Novell products. So this is just a few. I'm not going to go through all of the products that we have to offer to market, but just a select few that are very complementary to SLES for VMware. You may know that Novell is focused on a very similar market to the private and hybrid clouds, which we term as the intelligent workload management market. And the product that are in that space are about helping customers with this challenge of the siloed infrastructure that they have today and providing a holistic experience to help build, manage, measure that virtual private cloud or hybrid cloud infrastructure. So again, very similar to the keynote you saw yesterday, most of our products are designed around helping you do that hybrid cloud. The first one that I'll introduce you to is how do you create workloads for the SLES for VMware infrastructure. So there's a great way to experience this. You can either go to www.studio.com, SUSEstudio.com, and create an online appliance today with SUSE. Doesn't take very long at all. It takes probably 5 minutes and 10 minutes. And you can create an appliance. It's there for you to download and have an evaluation. This capability is available to you on site, where you can begin to build workloads and format them right for the VMware infrastructure environment. Very fast. You can customize the operating system as well in that, so it allows you to get the concept of just enough operating system as you build your appliance and optimize that for your application experience. So again, I encourage you to go try this. We've had 82,000 logons to this system that's online. 3 million downloads of the appliances that are posted there. So this is a public area. I'm not encouraging you to put your private applications up there, but it's a public area, so you can see what a lot of people are doing. And there's been over 410,000 appliances built since we launched this online free service about a year ago. So again, you can bring that capability that you experience online as a free service into your enterprise as a manufacturing plant of sense to create SUSE Linux for VMware workloads ready-made and optimized to run in that infrastructure. Second is another very complementary and synergistic product is our Sentinel product, which we will be announcing a VM safe adapter for very soon that allows you to begin to it's a security information and event management product. It allows you to get that monitoring, reporting, and remediation environment that looks at not just VMware, but your entire IT infrastructure and begins to allow you to understand where events are happening and build remediation plans for those events. So the VM-Safe API, again, will be focused on these virtual machines, and again, it will be for all VMware virtual machines, not just SLES, but it's another way for you to secure that environment and begin to build a compliance plan knowing what people did, not just allowing them to do it. The biggest user of this is the nation's Department of Defense. So if you've ever seen the first Transformers movie where you saw that guy goes, they're attacking the defense network. Novell's Sentinel product is the product that does that for all of us today. Right? And it's a pretty interesting demonstration if you ever get a chance to go down there and see the Cyber Defense Operations Center and how we're monitoring all the ships, all the planes, all the defense firewalls, and targeting where coordinated state-sponsored or individual attacks are occurring on the American U.S. government. This is a product that you should be very familiar with. A few years back, Novell acquired Platespin. So one of the products that we acquired was Migrate, which allows you to create VMware virtual machines. VMware has VMware Converter, but what this product does is help you with those use cases that are outside the VMware Converter capability. So there's a number of very complex migrations that you need to occur, a lot of additional automation that you might want to occur. So use VMware Converter where it makes sense, and then in those very difficult use cases or where you're looking for some additional replication automation, then I encourage you to take a look at Migrate from Novell. And last but not least is our business service management environment that allows you to begin to build an operations center view of that virtual infrastructure and how the information, the IT infrastructure relates to the business service and the applications that are running on it, and create a number of dashboard appearances. So one that our customers are doing is they're creating a operations center on top of the view from VMware that gives you a real view of the entire VDI infrastructure and what's going on there, and ability to help troubleshoot and find where that complex infrastructure may be having faults. So again, I encourage you, all of these are available for you to take a look at our booth. We're right behind VMware's number of large booths, And it's booth number 931. You can also see these at our website, of course, www.novell.com/products. All of these will show up. So I'm going to invite Bogomil up to the stage from VMware. And we'd love to answer any questions you have. And again, for those of you that I know need to go, thank you very much for coming. But we'd love to stay and answer any questions that the audience may have.
Nice work.
Bogomil, great to see you again.
Good to see you.
How are you? It's hard to see. Any questions? Yeah, here we go.
And there are microphones. There are 2 mics like right there so that other people can hear the question.
I guess the answer would probably be tough, but if you renewed your subscription before this announcement, like let's say 5-10 days, you can't take advantage of what you were describing with the licensing. So you just
you're talking about your SUSE Linux enterprise.
Exactly.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this entitlement ships with vSphere. So if you had purchased vSphere just a few days ago, then you would get the entitlement. But if you had renewed SLES, these are different offerings. So this offering goes out through VMware. It's a VMware SKU.
No, this is renewing of VMware vSphere.
Oh, sure.
That's what I renewed.
Yeah. So if you renewed your vSphere license and you're on vSphere 4.1,
I am. Yes.
You're able to go now and get that entitlement.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
What is Novell's business model behind this deal? Because usually you charge for your SLES licenses. Now you must have quite a lot of people not paying anymore for the license. How long does this commitment last? Until SLES 12? Or?
Sure. So the question is, what's Novell's business model behind this deal? And so what the motivation was to give customers access, as Raghu said, to more simplicity, more value within their data center. So if you look at what's happening out there, there's a lot of unpaid Linux that's used, and we wanted together to have those customers that want the Linux experience but are unwilling to pay to have an enterprise class experience. Second, it's a way for customers to be introduced to SUSE Linux, and in a very cost-effective way for them to do that. And then our expectation is as that usage grows, more and more of this will go into production where the support is required. So the business model is associated with customers gaining familiarity with Linux, gaining commitment to SUSE, moving those into production with VMware.
Hi, I have a question.
Sure, go ahead.
Hey.
Hi. Sorry, it's like blinding up here.
So which versions are covered by this licensing agreement? Is it /10, /11.1? What exactly is covered?
Yeah, what ships is SLES 11 SP1. So it's the most current.
Okay. But if you, for whatever reason, for application compatibility, wanted to use 10, is that also covered, or is it just 11.1?
Today, it's just 11.1.
Okay.
But we could get certified and get out the door. So that's what it is.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah. Great questions, though. These are. Any others? Oh, yeah, here we go. You want to take that one?
Actually, it's pretty simple. You just need to go to the VMware website, and if you already have a VMware account, as demoed during the keynote, you just go ahead, then you'll click through to the Novell website and have to provide some basic registration, and then you'll be ready to download the product.
So sorry, we didn't repeat that.
That's totally independent from how you acquired your VMware license, right? It doesn't matter how and from where you acquired your vSphere license. Any vSphere license purchased after June 9th entitles you to this. Doesn't matter through what VMware channel partner you acquired your vSphere license.
Yeah. So the question was, how do you access this? What partners do you go to? Do I have to go to a Novell partner or a VMware partner? So, as Bogomil described, this is going out with vSphere, so it's going out through VMware and their partners. And then the support is offered by VMware as well. It's a VMware SKU. It's offered by VMware and their partners.
Right. And so again, like if you'd like to purchase the VMware support SKU, it's on the VMware price list, and any channel partner who sells VMware licenses will be able to sell this.
Great.
Hang on.
The gentleman right behind you, and then we'll take.
So between 10 and 11, the high availability extensions were split out into a separate product. Are HAE included with the vSphere?
Yeah, so the question was, for those of you that are really familiar with SLES, we used to have an HA extension bundled in SLES 10 that was separated in SLES 11, and the HA extensions is an add-on. And the HA extensions are still an add-on. They're not included in the bundle. So it's straight SLES 11 SP1. With what's been modified is the splash screens you saw there. And also, for those of you, again, that are very familiar with what's in SLES, we've removed the other hypervisors for obvious reasons. Save space. Yes.
What about the future commitment of Novell to, let's say, SLES 11, SLES 12, 13?
Sure. Yeah. No. This is a multi-year agreement. It's a long-term multi-year agreement, and one of the things VMware was very concerned about was making sure that their customers always had the latest patches and updates. So that is a full patch and update channel. And there's a couple of read the detailed licensing things. You have to stay on your subscription service with VMware, to get those entitlements.
I work with a federal agency that sends both of you checks for several $1 million a year for licensing. What's going to be the impact for us? Do I go back and tell the CIO, hey, guess what? We just cut our bill by a third? What's going to happen for the large federal agencies with the enterprise licensing deals with VMware and Novell for operating systems?
Yeah, great question. So great, we don't have an answer for that one.
Okay, that's fine. Get back to us.
Yeah, we're going to have to get back to you. This thing came together pretty quickly. Lots of operational things, so we didn't ask each other all the questions. And one of them was that came up in the last couple of days. Some partners asked us and said, "Well, we do a lot of enterprise licenses. What are you going to do?" And we've got to work that out.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get a hold of you.
Okay. The entitlement to vSphere entitles you to the patch stream for SUSE Novell for VMware. What you have to pay separately for if you'd like technical support. If you'd like to be able to call VMware support also for technical issues with your SUSE Linux for VMware product. Yes. Support is extra. Yes.
So the question was, is there a way to get support from Novell for those VMware subscriptions? Today there's not. These are VMware SKUs. This is a VMware SLES. That's why it's branded SLES for VMware. Support is only available through VMware. You'll see if you read the fine print, it says this is being shipped to qualified VMware customers. What are non-qualified VMware customers we're not allowing this to go through OEM channels or be shipped directly to service and cloud providers.
But you'll still let our DSE support that, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, so good question. So allow the DSE to support that. I think we have to work out some of those things. I know where you're coming from. VMware may not. So let's get those questions into us because those are great FAQs that we have to get out to you and our teams. A DSE, for those of you that don't know, is a designated support engineer. It's an offering from Novell where many of our customers want to have a dedicated support engineer to support their environment. So the question was, will the Novell DSE cover this SLES for VMware? And that's another one we haven't really talked about. Great question.
My question is not directly about SUSE, but it's about the slide you had on your Sentinel product.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned, unfortunately, I didn't catch the full details. You mentioned something about some upcoming integration with VMware. Could you just repeat what that was?
Sure. If you're familiar with the Sentinel product, it has a number of adapters into existing IT infrastructure systems, monitoring systems like HP OpenView and application systems and so forth. So we're creating an adapter for the VM-safe API of VMware's infrastructure so that we can begin to collect events out of the virtual infrastructure system itself. Today, you'd have to put the Sentinel agent inside the VM, which we both know is not the most optimal way to do that. And
Thank you.
So there's going to be some ongoing stuff there to light that up a bit more. But great. Any other questions? Oh, here we go.
A little hard, right? So this will be an easy one.
All right.
So should we consider this a courting period? Is there going to be something else going on down there?
Okay, so I win the bet. I was thinking if that was going to come up or not.
The standard answer is that we don't comment on rumor and speculation.
Yeah, exactly. He's better at that than I am. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming. It's been a great VMware 2010, and really appreciate you having us with us.
And appreciate you having you here. Thank you.